It's time to create an eye look, whether you are going out on a first date or just date night. Let's zazz up these more mature eyes in a way that looks not trendy, but current, not overdone, but maturely modified. Today I'm gonna walk you through one of my favorite go-to eye makeup looks. Very simple, and it looks good with almost any eyeshadow palette that you already have. So if you don't like the colors that I'm using, and today we're doing a cool toned, more natural mauve-y earth tones, but to the cool side. If you don't like those colors and if they don't work best for you, then grab whatever eyeshadow palette you have. Just make sure that your cheek color and your lip color are also that same undertone. So if you're going cool, then go cool. If you're going neutral, neutral. And if you're going warm, then warm, warm, warm. All right, let's get started. If we haven't met before, hi, I'm Jody. Think of me as your midlife beauty bestie. And this year, we're gonna get, I know many of you are wanting to date, so let's step out. You gotta leave your house and you need to do your makeup, at least a little bit. That's what midlife besties are for. We're gonna get you ready to go be seen by the world because you're so beautiful and you have such a good spirit and you're so kind. You need to be out and spread that with the world. So let's get this eye makeup started. First thing we wanna do is prime the eyes with your concealer, which I've already done because we wanna neutralize that eye area and give us a neutral canvas to start with. Now, if you use an eyelid primer, you can do that as well. I don't use an eyelid primer. My eyes aren't really dry or really oily, so whatever concealer I have left on my brush after I've done my work under here, I just go and put it on top of my lids just to give me that neutral kind of cool tone starting point. Next, I'm gonna go in with Chorus by Morphe. This is their Cream Solo eyeshadow palettes. It's not a palette, it's a Cream Solo eyeshadow. Love, love, love these. I also have Airplay, which is a really light color, which we will also use, but these are my two favorite. I use these a lot. If you don't have the Chorus, but you picked up the Master Mattes by Makeup by Mario, this is in the shade Taupe. Very, very similar. In fact, you guys, I have found that both of these work really well for a bronzer. I call it more of a contour than a bronzing because it is a little bit more to, oh wow. Okay, that just happened. Like the whole thing just came out. That's never happened before, and I love these. So, okay, you can just put it back in. It's like a magic trick. Ta-da! I mean, that gives you a really good idea of what that shadow is. It's a very nice neutral to cool toned contour. I absolutely love it. So, that's what I was trying to show you on my finger, but how closely that matches the Master Mattes Makeup by Mario in Taupe. This one's $25. And this one by Morphe is, I think there's 7. So, you know, that's all we'll say about that. So today we're gonna use this one, and now that I have it all over my fingers, let me just pause and clean up the mess that I have made before we have a look we're really not intending today. At least I don't have a cream shirt on today. That would be a bigger mess. Now, I like synthetic brushes when I'm using a cream product. This is by BS Small. I'll link these down below. I get these on Amazon. Really nice brushes. They do shed from time to time, but not very often. I like this one specifically for cream eyeshadows because of that edge that comes to an angle. That allows you to take that product, go right in this outer corner of my lash line, apply this edge right on that lash line, and lift out. So we're gonna go right on that lash line and come up to the crease. And then take what's left on that brush and go to that corner of your eye and just make a straight line. These angled brushes make it really nice for those of us that have more saggy skin in our eyelids because the skin isn't just there. It moves as we move the brushes, and an angled brush really allows you to get the precision and the angle that you're looking for. Now I'm gonna take a fluffy brush and just smear, blur, and blend that darker shadow that we just placed across the lid and in that crease. Now, if you have hooded eyes, then you'll want to create a crease with this same movement. And I don't like doing a full rainbow like we were taught, and in our 20s and 30s it worked fine. But now as we've gotten older, you don't necessarily want to start in the outer edge and create a downward motion with that dark shadow. You really want to leave it a little bit more at an angle that looks like that. It's more flattering on our more mature eyes. but you don't want a harsh stop. So you want to blend that ever so slightly. And if you find that you need more shadow, just go with that fluffy brush really lightly on that cream. But you don't want to start with this fluffy brush. You want to start with that angled brush because this gives you the outline that you want to work within. Sort of like when you're coloring back in the day, you would outline stuff and then stay within the lines. Same thing as we've gotten older. Create your lines with an angled synthetic brush and then go back in with a fluffy brush and fill in those lines. That keeps you from getting too much product in areas that you don't want the product. And a sharp look, minimal eyeshadow is part of the key to a more mature eyeshadow makeup look. That and more neutral colors. But that being said, you guys, there's no rules. Just wear whatever you're most confident in, especially if this is date night. And if it's your first date, be you. If you like loud, bold colors, then show up that way. There's no reason to go on a first date and hide who you really are because that person's gonna come out eventually, and it should. And the person that you are on the date with should get to see who you really are and make the choice if that's what they want or not. Because you've lived a long life. The real you is not going to be hidden or shadowed, or the light is not going to be taken out. Absolutely not. We've lived too long to hide who we are. So see how that blending just gives a little bit of a dimension to the eye without looking like you have eyeshadow. That's the key here. And that's the look I like, just because it's a little bit softer and more natural, but it also says, hey, this interaction, this relationship is important to me, so I put in some effort. Next, I'm gonna take that same fluffy brush, and this is the BK Beauty A503. I'll link these down below. Now I'm gonna go into the Patrick Ta for eyes. You guys, this has quickly become one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes of 2025. I got it in November. I got it because they're all matte and they're shades that I really enjoy. But this side feels more neutral, and this side feels, this is a neutral color, this is a neutral, and this is a little bit more warm. So it has a nice mix of neutral, warm, and cool shades so that you can really mix up the look. I tend to lean more towards neutral to cool, but if you are not sure or you play it different day to day, then this might be a really good palette for you. These are really creamy. They blend out very softly. There's not much fallout at all, and I've really been loving this color a lot because it is more of a neutral color, but it's one shade darker than my foundation, and that's what you're looking for in this step. This darker color you want to be about 3 shades darker than your foundation. This next step, about 2 shades darker than your foundation. And we're gonna go right over that cream, up above the crease a little, and then on the lid to the inner corner. We want to give a veil of a darker color so that the eye socket shows that it sets back a little bit, because once we've neutralized it with concealer earlier, it sort of brings that eye socket forward. And we want to add a little bit of dimension, but dimension the way we want it versus the way age has created it. This eyeshadow palette is the light eyeshadow palette. I'll link these down below. This is less about the products I'm using, although I will link them in case you want to find something that works for you, but it's more about what type of products and where to place them. Case in point, you're gonna find a waterproof eyeliner. I prefer a dark brown. This is by the brand Swede. Again, I'll link them down below for you to make it easy. This is in Dusty Brown. Love this shadow. So with this, I'm just gonna go right up to this outer corner of my lashes, press that eyeliner. So we're essentially tight lining at your lash line. While you're tight lining, the key is to hold that pencil right at the edge or the base of your lashes, not closer to your eye, but closer to those lashes, and really push that color up. Now, I like to only tightline where my lashes start and stop. Some people like to tightline all the way to that inner corner. Next, I'm gonna take a small pencil brush and I'm gonna pick up the Airplay by Morphe. And I'm gonna go right in this inner corner. I'm gonna go a little heavy just so that you can get the gist of it. That's where you want the placement. And then right through here, just in the center third of your eyebrow. Again, you may not want to use this much. I'm doing it more for demonstration purposes, just to make sure that it really comes through on the camera, but I can blend it out. So we'll still get the final look that we're looking for. Don't be alarmed by how crazy this probably looks to you right now with those crazy shadows on my eye. I'm gonna pick up a big fluffy brush And I'm just gonna lightly go in and blend that out. And I don't wanna pull that color any more past that halfway mark, and that's as far as I wanna go. Because as we get older, the majority of our wrinkles are out in these crow's feet areas and underneath our eyes. So we don't wanna have brightness over this whole area, drawing attention to the whole more wrinkly eye area. Typically, the least amount of wrinkles that we carry are from the center pupils into our nose. So that's where you wanna brighten with a little bit of eyeshadow. But you don't want to leave the shade of the eyeshadow so that you can see, oh, you put a light colored eyeshadow there. You want to blend it so that you can't see, you can't tell there's eyeshadow there. You just tell that there is light hitting in that area. And then blend out up here. And if you find that your fingers work better, use those. Now you're going to take a large fluffy brush and go back into that color that we did earlier. Really, really light. And we're gonna do one more veil over the whole eyelid. Think about this step as when you undersculpt your face and you put on your bronzer, your contour, your highlight, your blush, and then your foundation to give you that really nice shadowing and shading from within. Same concept here on the eyes. We're gonna do all the shadows, the darks, the lights, the creams, and then go over it with one final veil of a shadow so that those different dimensions show from underneath, but you can't see where they stop and start. That final step should be a veil of color over all of it to blend it together. I'm gonna go back to that eyeliner and just go underneath my lash line on the lower lashes. Small strokes starting from the outer corner. And again, I like to start and stop at my natural lash line. If you want to extend it past your eye into the upper lashes, you can. You can go all the way to that inner corner. I find that when I do that, it makes my eyes look a little smaller, so I tend to not do that so much. Next, I'm gonna grab just a small smudging brush. If you don't have a brush like this, just grab a Q-tip. It does the same thing. We're just trying to soften that so that it doesn't look as though you just put a straight line. You really wanna soften it. There's an obvious placement of product there for sure, but a harsh line is what we want to avoid. Now that I have my lower lashes, I'm going to go back to my eyeliner and just put a little bit of liner right above my upper lash line on the outer corner, about the outer third. One of my favorite techniques for applying eyeshadow on a more sophisticated evening date night type of a look for our more mature eyes is to take a small pencil brush. Again, this is the MAC 219. You can use a small Q-tip for this too, you guys. Again, if you're looking for good brushes, but you don't want to spend a fortune, the BS Mall, it's BS Mall brushes from Amazon. They're really, really good brushes. Real Techniques is also very affordable, really nice brushes. So you just want a small pencil brush like this, and I'm gonna go into this color right here, staying in the same undertones of shades. Put that right at the bottom and go right on top of that eyeliner. It just softens the look, gives it a little bit more dimension. This step elevates your under eye makeup look for sure. Persona sent me their new tubing mascara, so thank you to them. I want to give it a try. I've really loved their cream blush. We have that right here, which I have on. We'll put on a little bit more, but I want to see how this tubing mascara works. Now on a special night like this, I like to take my mascara and lift these outer corners by holding my wand this way and just putting that mascara on the tips, because what that does is add some length, but only to the outer edges. See the difference there? Then what I'm going to do is take it and turn it horizontally and go in at the root, wiggle it, and pull it up. This is a creamy formula. It's not clumping. It's adding length and volume. And it doesn't go on wet. You know how some tubing mascaras, you put it on and it just feels like it's kind of wet, and if you have curled your lashes, it pulls that curl down? This doesn't seem to be doing that. That's a pretty impressive mascara. You can do this with any mascara. It doesn't have to be tubing mascara. And you could do that all the way across your lashes. I just want this outer third of my lashes to be longer because that helps give a little bit of a lifted, fluttery, sexy look to the eyes. And since this is a date night look, we're going for maybe not sexy on the first night. There's a fine line between I wanted to impress you on our first date look and a sultry, sexy look on the first date. I mean, no judgment here, but as your midlife beauty bestie, I would say Don't go for the sexy, sultry look. Not on the first date. All right, you guys, now we're gonna take some concealer. I'm loving this one by Tier because it has this lipstick shaped concealer on one end. It also has the cream on the other end for your traditional concealer placement. Very easy. But man, this was genius. It's so handy. It works really well. I put the tip of that concealer at that outer corner of my eye, go out and up. Zoom in so you can see that. Same thing over here, outer corner and outside of the brows. And then you could set that with a soft powder if you wanted to. That extra step with the concealer just gives you a lifted, more professional pulled together look. You could put a second coat of mascara on. I don't really think I need to with this look. And you could also do a black or brown on your lower lashes. I don't think, well, maybe if it's date night, maybe I would. Let's just do a little on our lower lashes. What do we think? Lower lashes, not lower lashes. For the longest time, I didn't want to put mascara on my lower lashes because I felt like it pulled my face down. But I don't know if I felt that way because people told me it did. People being beauty YouTubers and Instagram YouTubers like, don't do that if you're over 50. So I listened to that and now I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel like my face looks pulled down because I have mascara on my lower lashes. I don't know. What do you guys think? All right, and then to finish up the look, I'm just gonna add some Persona blush. This is in Caramel. Right on the cheeks. I'm gonna use my fingers and blend that away. I'm gonna take the brush that I put my foundation on earlier and just softly go over that blush so that it blurs any of the lines. I'm gonna use Spice by Jane Iredale for lip liner. I have a best of 2025 video coming up, you guys. I've been putting the finishing touches on it just to share with you my favorite products. I'm keeping it to 10 because otherwise it just felt really overwhelming. And a lot of them were good, but these are the ones that I have used as staples that I've repurchased multiple times and will continue to in 2026. So it's not a shopping list by any means, but it's a here's the best of the best that I have found in case you're looking for something in that category. So stay tuned for that. It's coming out in just a couple days. Be sure to subscribe if you're not already. And if you think you're subscribed, go back and check because I've had people tell me they thought they were subscribed and then for some reason, somehow they became unsubscribed. So just double check that and hit that notification bell if you want to see when I post new videos. I'm just taking that cream blush, that Persona in Caramel, putting it on my lips so that everything pulls consistent. And then I'm gonna go over it with the Lifter Gloss by Maybelline in the shade Toffee. And because it's date night, I'm gonna add a little bit of highlighter, just whatever highlighter you have. This is Enchant by Rare Beauty. And if you don't have a highlighter, you guys, no need to go buy one. Take a look at what products you have. Do you have a cream eyeshadow that you could use as a highlighter? I bet you do. Or maybe you've got a lipstick that has a little bit of a sheen to it. If that's the case, use that as your highlighter. There's no need to go out and purchase all of these products. If you are new to makeup or you're just getting started and you're coming off of the holiday bill payment part, then just look at what you've got and think about, can I mix and match those? Just like those Master Mattes Makeup by Mario, I have used this is taupe as I mentioned earlier. I've used this as a bronzer in a pinch. Works great because it does not move. The mauve I actually used as a blush a couple weeks ago because I was somewhere and I was using this on my eyes and you just need the one color, it blends out nicely. But I didn't have a blush and I'm like, I need a blush. It was the perfect color for a blush. So oftentimes you can mix and match. I mean, look at that. This would probably make a really pretty matte lipstick too. Oftentimes the formulas aren't so different that you cannot mix and match makeup. It's just really a matter of if you have extra sensitive eyes, you want to be a little more careful putting products that aren't meant for your eyes near your eyes. But for the most part, most of your eye products can be used in other places. Your lip products are often used in other places. Again, just avoid real close to your eyes if you have more sensitive skin. Besides that, get real creative and just mix and match and just put all your makeup together that you want to use that day and pick out what you have of where you want it and not worry about what it's meant for. That just makes your makeup application so much more fun because it opens up so many more possibilities for looks that you can create and it doesn't leave you feeling limited with what you have. So I encourage you to just think about all the makeup that you have, mix and match, and create a look for date night, Maybe it's a first date. If it is, girl, go get him. We are wishing you lots of luck. Hit this with a setting spray, especially if you think it's gonna be a late night. And while you're doing this makeup look, if you look down and notice you have hollowness under your eyes, no worries, I got a fix for that. I'll put that video right here for you. Be sure to watch that one before you go out. In fact, a couple days before you go out, because it might take a few days of practice. I know for me to get this technique down, I needed to work on it maybe 3 or 4 times. So give yourself a couple days of, a run through with that technique before you're ready for your big night out. All right, you guys, I'll see you in just a couple days. Thanks for watching. Bye.